If procrastination keeps winning, it's probably because your brain is choosing short-term comfort over long-term results, even when the goal genuinely matters and will serve your best purpose in the future. This video will explain the psychology behind procrastination and will also give you a set of systems you can follow to overcome procrastination for good. This isn't going to be one of those YouTube videos, wake up at 5 a.m. and, go to the gym, do this and that. No, we're going to be breaking it down and actually identifying why as human beings, why as women we procrastinate, what is the science behind it. Because one thing about me, I need to understand why I do something. I don't want to just, okay, here's the cure, that's it. Because then if I have the cure, I can always revert back and do the same negative things over and over again. I want to explore the psychology behind it. Are there certain systems in place in my brain that I need to remove for me to stop doing something for good? I need to recognize why. And if you are the same, sister, I've got you. This video is for you. One thing to note, procrastination is often seen as a flaw. As you see in society, oh, I'm such a big procrastinator. It's literally been romanticized at this point. Like, people will say and identify themselves as a procrastinator, like it's something you struggle with. And that is the worst thing you can do, because you never want to attach yourself to a negative trait, because then you're going to find ways to always do the thing because it's a part of your identity, right? So that's the first thing. I want you to remove the whole I'm a natural procrastinator out of your vocabulary, because that can't run. If you are trying to become your dream version, if you are trying to live your desired reality, you need to no longer see yourself as part of the procrastination trend. You are not a procrastinator. You may have procrastinated in something in the past or many things in the past, but you are not a procrastinator. So get that out of your vocabulary. Procrastination is a self-regulation issue. It has a lot to do with self-regulating yourself and a lack of self-regulating yourself. You are not holding yourself accountable, and that's where procrastination comes in. You have to recognize that you never procrastinate when it comes to wanting to sleep or when it comes to doing things that bring you pleasure. You want to procrastinate in things that feel unpleasant, that feel boring, that feel mundane. And there's science and reason behind this. When rewards feels far away, your confidence feels low. When you know that you're not going to get the thing that you want or the result that you want tomorrow, you don't want to do it. That's why a lot of us struggle to build a consistent gym routine, because it's not after the first gym session we've got our dream body, we've got that aesthetic body. No, it's over time, showing up over and over again, eating healthy, deciding to swap a meal out for a healthier nutritional option. But you're not going to get the reward straight away. You're not going to lose that weight straight away, or you're not going to gain that weight straight away. It's going to take time. And over time, these small little habits that you do every day will compound and give you the result that you want. Because this feels so far away, you're like, forget this. I don't see the point of wasting my time now. You with me? And that's where distraction comes in. You find ways to distract yourself and put off the thing, whether it's social media, whether it's that bummy guy you shouldn't be talking to. You always will find a way to use distraction to stop you from doing the thing. And then it becomes a loophole, and over again, you repeat the same cycle. And then you want to identify as a procrastinator. When this is understood, it becomes clear as to why simply trying harder doesn't work. A person can care about wanting to be successful and about having big, ambitious goals. You've seen the trend, lazy but ambitious, right? There are people out there that genuinely have goals. They're ambitious, but they're quote unquote lazy. You can be someone like that and still delay, still put things off. And this is because you're reacting to the discomfort and time delay, not logic. So you are holding on to the unpleasant feeling of having to do something that you don't want to do. So you put it off every single time. You're already feeling the feeling of that task, and it just feels like a burden. And so because of this, you put it off over and over again, because you don't want to go through that. You don't want to experience that. You just want to feel pleasant vibes. You want to be on high vibes, right? So this is parts of why you tend to procrastinate. So now we're going to talk about procrastination, the psychology behind it, but in layman's terms to keep it simple, because one thing about me, I'm just a girl. So we're not gonna now come and do some complicated tasks and that I can't understand. We're not doing that. So yeah, this is simple terms. So I'm gonna break down the psychological framework of procrastination. So essentially, guys, procrastination is mood repair. You have to recognize that when you procrastinate, it's a short-term mood repair, because as I explained before, you seeing and knowing the task that you need to do, but then not wanting to do it because of the unpleasant feeling, you then bring procrastination and distraction in that instantly rewards you. It instantly gives you a feeling of calmness, because now you're like, you don't want to think about that thing. You don't have to think about that thing, you're occupied doing something else. And so this is a form of short-term mood repair. When a task or thing that you need to do creates stress, boredom, discomfort, or the fear of doing it badly, avoiding the task gives you instant relief. Like, it's like a literal drug. It's giving you that instant relief and that instant gratification because you've transitioned from worry, stress, and uncertainty to putting it off and now feeling relief and calm. So you're chasing the feeling and the mood of relief. That relief is rewarding. So your brain is going to repeat procrastinating because it wants to continuously feel the reward. So your brain learns to repeat the avoidance. So this is why procrastination can feel irrational. It's not the case of you being lazy. It literally is the emotion behind it. You don't want to have to confront the fact that you don't know, you're uncertain, or you're scared. Instead, you just want to feel good. You want to feel relieved. And that's what the avoidance does. The avoidance allows you to feel relief because you're not having to confront the reality. The next psychological framework and reason behind procrastination is present bias and future you. This is a thinking problem. A lot of tasks require effort now, reward later, which is delayed gratification. A lot of people do not want to practice delayed gratification, and I completely get it because we're living in this microwave society where we get instant gratification all the time, whether it's scrolling, whether it's next day delivery. There's always that instant reward, but when it comes to certain tasks, you need to recognize that reward will be delayed, and you have to just keep going and putting in the effort and trust and believe and have faith that you will receive the reward, just not at the time that you would have liked. Your brain naturally values instant gratification and reward and feeling good, and so when it now sees that you're not getting that reward, it's thinking, what the hell? I don't want this. Starts taking 10 steps back. And so this is why people tend to delay. They know what they need to do. They know that they need to do the thing. But because they're not going to get the reward that they want and their brain sees that, brains are like, no, I don't want to do this. And so this is actually known as present bias decision making. And so procrastination usually has two engines: emotional discomfort in the present moment and weak urgency around future consequences. So what you need to do is recognize that building the skill of delayed gratification is required to overcome this. You have to start normalizing putting off instant reward for a greater reward in the future. If you can master the skill of delayed gratification, my dears, your life will change. Your life will transform. You will naturally become a woman who is living her best life because you understand the importance of showing up for yourself now, knowing that it's going to reward you in the future. We've talked about the psychology behind procrastination. We've talked about why it's so easy to procrastinate and not just the mundane. You got to wake up early, you got to do this. No, the science behind it, because there's literal science as to why we do things. And now let me share with you guys the systems to reverse engineer. So first, you need to remove the emotional resistance to starting the thing. Most people force themselves to finish a task, but the real struggle is starting. And the reason for this is emotional resistance in a beginning. There is so much emotional resistance for you to start a hard or unpleasant task, and this is what tends to cause procrastination. So you need to remove it. And so an instant practical fix for this is to reduce the starting size. Make it simple to start. Make it so simple to start that you would feel dumb for not starting. And so let's say, for example, you have an email that you need to write. Let's say it's a work email that you need to send to your colleague. It's an in-depth email. You don't feel like writing it. Alright, you could task yourself to open up Mailbox, draft the heading, draft the first 2-3 sentences. Then it's gonna be so much more easier for you to continue and reach flow state. Then within an hour to 2 hours, come back to the task and continue. If you do this, it's gonna be so much more easier for you to do the thing because now you've already started. So the emotional resistance becomes void because you've actually started. A lot of times when we procrastinate, it's because we just don't want to start. So if you make it simple for you to start, you reduce the starting size, it will be so much more likely for you to get on with it, to complete the task, and to live your best life. So just start. The reason why this works is because you're changing your emotional experience. Your brain can no longer dread having to start something because you already did. You already opened Mailbox. You already opened your email and you wrote the heading. You put your attachments in. You wrote the first line of the email. And so that resistance, that dread is void. You already started. So now all it takes is for you to continue. You're already in that state of flow. Next system is to reduce delay and increase immediate action. When rewards are delayed, this increases reduces the likelihood of you procrastinating. This is one of the strongest predictors found in research-based models of procrastination. And so a practical fix for this is creating an immediate reward for you doing the task, doing the thing. So you want to pair an unpleasant task with a reward that you know you will enjoy after doing it or during the process. That way your brain gets a reward while doing the work. And so let's say, for example, you don't want to go to the gym. You dread it, right? There's no instant gratification in that way. Let's say you have a podcast that you absolutely love listening to. What you're going to do is only listen to that podcast when you're in the gym. When you're on the treadmill, you're going to put your earphones in and listen to the podcast and enjoy it for all its good quality and content. But this is going to be secluded for only when you are at the gym. That way, what this does is it pairs the delayed effect with an instant reward. And so now you're going to start pairing it with, oh, when I go to the gym, I usually get to listen to my favorite podcast. Let me go to the gym. So I need to catch up. And so you're reducing that delay and that dread, which makes it more likely for you to get the thing done consistently. Use if-then planning so actions aren't dependent on your moods and emotions. Recognize that procrastination grows when decision making is vague. Vague plans creates negotiation, and negotiation instigates procrastination. And so an example of this is, let's say if it's 7 p.m, I'm going to start my assignment for 25 minutes. So once it's 7 p.m, I am doing my assignment. I'm going to time myself for 25 minutes. I'm going to get my assignment done, or I'm going to work towards completion. Now your brain is signifying that you need to start at 7 p.m. It creates structure, it's strict, and it's specific. The more specific you are, the less likely you are to delay. So you want to remove the notion of being vague. You want to be able to actually say, this is what I'm going to do when it is, 7 p.m, or when I go to the gym, when I do this or whatever. Always make the goal and what you need to do specific, strict, and time constrained, because this will allow you to actually get the thing done. And another system, guys, design your environment in a way that makes procrastination void. When you're in an environment that's messy, when you're in an environment that's unproductive, when you're in an environment that's just, it's overwhelming, it's overstimulating, it's easy for you to procrastinate because your whole physical area and your whole space is a mess. So your brain's a mess. So it's easier for you to just sit in your bed and then doom scroll for like 2 hours because you just too much. When you actually clean your space, you organize, your folders, where your workstation is, where you're gonna work, where you're gonna unwind. Everything is clear and specific. It's so much more easier for you to get the thing done because you get home, you know where things are. One thing that's really helpful, especially if you're trying to build the habit of being in the gym consistently, have an area where your gym clothes can be set out, whether it's the day before, night before, whatnot. So when you come back from work, you see your gym clothes, you see your trainers, and your car keys are set out ready. And all you got to do is put the clothes on, get your keys, and run out the door. It's that way of creating an environment that makes those habits automated. It makes it easier, and it makes you feel guilty if you don't get that thing or task done. So start creating environments that allow you to be productive, that actually promotes productivity. Environmental design will reduce the friction of you not wanting to start and increase the friction of you getting distracted. So really create your environment of one that supports your productivity levels. You know what things that you need to show up for yourself. You know exactly what things you need to do and show up for. So you want to create an environment that reflects that. Guys, I hope this video has been helpful. I have given you guys the blueprint and the systems you need to overcome procrastination, because let's be real, in adulthood and especially as women, we need to make sure that we are showing up for ourselves. This isn't about putting unnecessary pressure or unrealistic expectations. What it is about is setting systems and creating patterns that will support you to be consistent. You're not a procrastinator. You have procrastinated in the past, but today you are a consistent and disciplined woman who consistently shows up. Make sure you're adding that into your identity, okay? This will also make it easier for you to do the things in the task, because your dream self is one that is disciplined, that is consistent, that shows up for herself. Guys, let me know in the comments what you struggle with the most when it comes to procrastination. What tasks make you literally want to rip your hair out? I would love to know. But that is it for this video. If you enjoyed, be sure to give it a thumbs up. Subscribe for more content. If you love all things leveling up and just level up made simple, this is the channel for you. And if you want one-to-one consultation, or you even want to check out how you can level up for good and permanently, check out my level up playbook. I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.